Now let's talk about Bob JPEG the second, Bob Iger.
Wouldn't he be
Oh
the
boy.
first?
First and second, I guess. He's surrounding Chapek. At this point, he's just orbiting him.
That'd be the first and the third.
Yeah, it's crazy. So what happened was we had the investors call for Disney, and boy, was this sort of a Bob Iger comes out and says, "Okay, you idiots, you asked for new content and you didn't want us to make endless sequels. Well, you didn't see any original content, so now you idiots get constant sequels, and that's it."
Yay.
The irony. And now
here's
people are
Moana
complaining.
2 coming this year.
And now literally people are complaining, being like, why are they just making sequels? And Bob Iger literally said, well, you didn't go see Eternals, you didn't see Shang-Chi. Well, clearly you don't want them, so we're just gonna make more Captain America and Thor. It's like, yep. So everybody gets what they wanted.
Trying to sneak in Eternals right there.
I mean, look, Eternals and Shang-Chi did not make the money they wanted. Let's be clear about that.
Like, yeah, but they also had a pandemic in that point. That's
exactly.
If you want to use a movie in the last year, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand it because like there's like that and some other reports where they are also just like you said that they were just going to do I guess tested IPs like the Captain America
strongest characters,
right? Yeah, because to me anyway. So like, what you're gonna do more Spider-Man? Is that what you're gonna do? Just keep
that's the thing he mentions. He's like, well, we've proven that mainly sequels are the ones that make us most money. Look at our recent releases. I'm like, how about the Marvels, Bob? How about the Marvels? That's a sequel.
Yeah,
like he's missed the point on what he's talking about. And again,
I mean, if you look at all the money, sure, the Marvels is a blip in comparison. That was no pun intended there. It's a weird spot out of all the other sequels, because all the other sequels did make like 500 to 700 or whatever it was. They all did relatively well. Other ones, yeah, no, not so much.
Yeah,
but it was like, so like are we gonna get another Guardians of the Galaxy?
I mean, you always were.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
You don't be like, hey, here's a new team, StarLord's coming back, and then you don't do anything ever again.
Oh, well, wasn't like StarLord going to have his own solo movie as well? Or because that's what
they just said the StarLord will return at the end.
Yeah.
What that means necessarily, who knows?
Because like, I think like some like reports saying that it was just going to be him for the most part, but he's going to be doing stuff on Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it. Swear.
Yeah. What was that? I think they were going to call it what? Something StarLord, Immortal StarLord, or something.
Yeah, they said the legendary StarLord will return, so I assume it was going to be that.
Yeah,
run as well.
Yeah, because it's going to be like 40-something StarLord trying to adapt to Earth customs that he's well past his prime to understanding while being a hero.
It's almost like they're going to make him Captain America, because that was his entire shtick.
I mean,
we lost that Captain America. Quick, get Chris Pratt to do it.
That kind of honestly, like, I mean, their tactics would make sense with some of these characters and how to further that brand, like, and also make cheaper movies. Like, I assume if you make a StarLord film where he's on Earth and he's kind of just bumps into some of the other heroes, you can probably produce that on a budget that's not $250 million. I would hope to God you can, because their budgets have ballooned so high, it's not sustainable. Like, it is. They need to go back to Ant-Man 1 budget where you're like, we spent $150 million and we used every single dollar of that. It's like, yeah.
I mean, even then, that's silly money. That's just crazy.
Oh yeah.
You don't need to spend that much money on a fucking movie.
No, you don't. But that's them, and also him talking about how Marvel Studios they're only going to do guaranteed franchises that make money. I'm like, oh, so X-Men and Deadpool back to back every other year, right? That's what he's saying.
So you mean like Captain America, Iron Man, and Thor?
No,
because they were your strong IPs at the start.
Yeah, and when he says it's like we're not focusing on like D-list characters anymore, I'm like, bro, that's what the studio was built on. Iron Man and Cap couldn't sustain an ongoing comic for their life. What are you talking about?
The only like above D-list character they had used at the start was Hulk.
The Hulk. Yeah, who couldn't sustain a freaking movie? Like nobody saw that
Yeah.
garbage. What? Oh, insane.
Yeah, looking back on it, yeah, Hulk was the highest IP that they had, who could sustain his own run for a very long time,
just-
but the movie wasn't very good.
And just think of that. The Hulk wasn't even something they owned. They literally went and told Universal, look, we don't have money to make this. So why don't you make it? We'll just let you keep the character. That's how much they didn't own money on the character.
Yep.
Like, wild. And I get Bob Iger's trying to, please the studio heads, but the messaging here was just idiotic.
It's not really inspiring.
No,
What he said.
not at all. And like, also on the other side of it, they didn't really address the TV front, but the fact that we know that Echo, the total cost to make Echo and market it was less than 50 million, and
So
all
like
of
40 mil went or something.
right, yeah, and the total cost of She-Hulk was 250 plus. I mean, go back to making street level on TV. Like that's what you need to focus on. Like
Yeah.
it's that's your bread and butter there for under 50 million, maybe 75 tops for TV series, but otherwise. They got to choose their battles a whole lot better with what goes where.
I say the industry as a whole needs to put its head out of the ground
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
CGI does not need to cost as much as it does.
And I just looked it up. The budget for Moon Knight for production was 147.9 million for the first season. That is a movie. Like that is rough.
And it doesn't need it either. Like, why was Moon Knight that expensive?
Yeah. Again, I don't get it. Money mismanagement or just spending wildly when you don't need it must have been the key to this. So, it's kind of crazy, but there we are. And like Daredevil Born Again, make no mistake about it, that's going to have somewhat of a higher price tag because of how much they're shooting on location in New York, and to shut down one street in New York. Oh, expensive, man. I don't know. So, any finishing thoughts on Bob Iger missing the point?
I just want to know what are the characters he considers strong right now. What are the ones that he's talking about?
If
So I'd assume Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah,
because Multiverse of Madness did good.
Yeah, probably Doctor
Strange,
Strange,
Scarlet Witch as well.
Yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Man. Was it would you count Avengers as like a team brand? Because that's one of the only.
I mean, clearly they don't, since they scrapped it off the release calendar.
Black Panther.
Which one did they scrap off the calendar? I assume Secret Wars.
No, so Kang Dynasty is no longer there, and Secret Wars wasn't even mentioned anywhere. So clearly that's getting bumped back as well. So,
yeah, Black
Never
Panther.
gonna happen in my lifetime. Ricardo's right.
Oh, Black Panther, 100%. He's the one.
Oh yeah, he's the Black Panther. Yeah.
Not so sure about. Well, if they would ever try and do an Iron Man.
I mean, Armor Wars we're getting right. You know what? I'm believing that that's not going to happen now. I don't think that movie happens. Like,
Rhodey gets the short end of the stick again.
Yeah, it's like
next time, baby.
That movie was announced
for Rhodey.
Like, when was it announced? 2019, I think.
I think.
Armor Wars was announced as a TV series. Yeah.
Yeah, and then a movie, and then they're like, "Well, it might be a TV." Okay, now it's a movie again. Like, oh my god.
No, I never went from just movie to TV to movie. Once it hit the movie, it's never been rumored to be anything.
Yeah, okay. Wild. Like, how is the next chapter in the Iron Man saga, which is Armor Wars, picking up the pieces, so hard to get off the ground that a couple months ago, Don Cheadle was interviewed. Like, so what's happening with Armor Wars? He's like, I don't know. You tell me what's happening with Armor Wars. Oh no. Oh no. Oh.
There's just too many plates, right? And when one starts tumbling, they all start going. That's all it is. 100%. It's all a side effect of JPEG.